Hey, horror fans! Once again, it is me, the Horror Miser Monty G, trying to review the latest film in the Final Destination franchise, and unfortunately, the final film for the late great Tony Todd. Yes, it is Final Destination Bloodlines. Yes.
Y'all ready for this?
Hey, horror fans! Once again, it is me, the Horror Miser Monty G. Now, Final Destination Bloodlines is a 2025 American supernatural horror film that was directed by Zap Lipinski, I think I pronounce his name, and Adam Stein. This was written by Guy Busick and Laurie Evans Taylor. Now, the film stars Caitlin Santa Gianna, I believe is how you pronounce her name, Theo Moranis, Richard Harmon, Owen Patrick Joyner, Raya Kilstedt, Beck Bessinger, and of course, Tony Todd. Now, in the film, plagued by recurrent violent nightmare, a college student returns home to find the one person who can break the cycle and save her family's horrific fate that inevitably awaits them. Now, horror fans, when it comes to horror franchises, perhaps one of the more successful ones is the Final Destination series. Now, created by American screenwriter and director Jeffrey Reddick from an unproduced spec script back in 2000, the series has spawned 5 books, 10 novels, and 2 comic books. Very successful franchise here. Now, what makes this series different from your typical slasher films, because it's what this kind of is the premise that is used in all 5 films in the franchise. No, that is that the person has a premonition that they will see them and their friends die in a horrible accident for which they saved them from. No, it doesn't matter if the premonition is in a plane crash, an automobile accident, a roller coaster, a speedway, and a bridge collapsing. Anytime when they see this premonition, they all of a sudden, oh shit, we're all going to die, and they wind up saving everybody in that particular accident. Almost not everybody, mostly all certain people actually survive. Now, however, the bad guy in these films isn't a violent killer that wears a mask or has a clawed glove on his right hand. Oh, no, 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 no. The bad guy in these films appears to be death, and he seems to be righting a wrong by having these people who survived the accident it designed by killing these survivors one by one in a very gruesome Rube Goldberg-like mechanisms. I think that's what really draws everyone in is the unique way they all die in these horrible accidents. Now, due to this unique premise, the Final Destination series has become favored among horror fans and for New Line Cinema and Warner Brothers Discovery, and it's become its third successful horror franchise behind The Conjuring and It, chapters 1 and 2. Now, film directors Zach Lipinski and Adam Stein brings us the 6th film in the franchise. This one is called Final Destination Bloodlines. Now, the film starts with a very long and intense prologue taking place in 1969, where a woman named Iris Campbell and her boyfriend Paul are killed when the Skyview restaurant tower collapses, killing everyone in the restaurant. And I do mean it's very long and very violent. I mean, you want to talk about a great opening. I think this is one of the better horror openings that we've seen probably since Ghost Ship. Now, in the present, we're introduced to college student Stephanie Reyes, who's having recurring nightmares of the accident that Iris was in. Why is that? Now, we later learn that Iris is Stephanie's grandmother, and that accident happened to be a premonition that she saw, and she was able to save all the lives on the tower before it collapsed. After learning that Iris abandoned the family due to the many deaths of people that were supposed to die, Stephanie learns that her family, her brother Charlie, her uncle Howard, and his children, Eric, Julia, and Bobby, are now next in death design as they were not supposed to exist. See, without kind of spoiling anything, we get this little back and forth between Stephanie and Iris, and then Iris tells her what's happening, and then all of a sudden Stephanie realizes that all of a sudden that they were not supposed to exist because she was supposed to die in the tower crash, and that eventually leads to what we have as the story in the film. So, can Stephanie and her family survive long enough to evade death's grand plan and eliminate them all? Yes. Now, I was not surprised when it was announced that another Final Destination film was in the works. That's because Final Destination 5 made 157 million the worldwide the box office on a $40 million budget, making it the second highest film in the series. I think it's behind Final Destination 3, if I'm not mistaken, when it comes to box office. It seems horror fans still love the franchises, even after kind of what happened in the fourth film, where it used too much CGI, so they made a fifth film. That film did so well, so it wasn't surprised that Warner Bros. Discovery and New Line Cinema greenlit a sixth film, a possible reboot in the series. That's what some people said it was going to be, but it's really not a reboot. However, screenwriters Guy Busick and Laurie Evans Taylor, along with Zach and Adam, have given us what I believe, and I'm pretty sure other horror fans are probably going to be saying too, the best film in the series. I think what's good about this film is that they stick what has been working. That's very intense and violent opening premonition when it comes to the Skyview restaurant collapse. Now, I'm not spoiling anything because we see that in the trailer. We kind of knew that was happening in the film, and I thought that was great way to open a film. But like I said, it's probably one of the best horror openings I've seen since Ghost Ship. Now, unlike the other films in this series, this one involves family, not just a group of strangers. And this brings a different dynamic to the series. That's because there is an emotional attachment to the characters, as these are not just strangers caught up in something wild and crazy. They're really freaked out when if after the events happen that all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, I don't know what's happening here. So there's a little emotional attachment, unlike what we've seen in the other films in the franchises when it's just a bunch of strangers. No, the filmmakers do another great job of setting up the mechanics that are used and how the character is going to die, and they use some things that we haven't seen in the franchise, and I thought they did a great job in setting up those devices because, as you see in some of the trailers and some of the trailers in the film, and when you watch the film, they do a great job as they slowly and particularly use every slight of camera trick that you have to pay attention to because something is happening in the background. You might miss it, and next you know, what the hell? Because that does happen in one scene in the film. It's like if you're not careful looking in the background, you're going to miss it. And the next thing you know, all of a sudden, shit happens. Now, Caitlin Santana want Joanna is I might be mispelling her name. She's very good as Stephanie Reyes, a young woman who will go out of her way to protect her family despite the crazy situation that they find themselves in. I believe she does carry the film. Not a great performance, but good enough where we believe her. We want to make sure that she survives, her brother survives. I think she does a good job in the film. I mean, the rest of the cast is fine. They play their roles like they're supposed to. They're resentful at Stephanie at first, but then they're scared to death when the truth hits them hard. And it does hit them hard in this particular film. Well, everyone was fine in the roles. Like I said, not great acting, but good enough to carry the film. Now, there are some little secrets that get exposed throughout the film, and then we get some nice tender moments between, I believe, Stephanie and her mother. I think there's supposed to be some nice bonding moments in the film. I thought there was a nice little touch that they used in this particular film. But I believe everyone will be glad and sad to see the late great Tony Todd appear in his last film, though not his final role, as William Bloodworth, as the filmmakers give him a nice send-up, which I'm pretty sure will make many of his fans cry. Almost made me cry too, because we're going to miss that guy. He plays a somewhat pivotal moment in this particular film, and I thought what the writers did and what everyone else did in that particular film, I thought it was a nice send-off for him. Now, of course, we do get some nice, decent kills in the film, which were nicely set up and with some great attention to detail. Cinematography was great in this particular film. A little too much CGI, which I'll talk about later, but it was still nicely set up. We really thought they did a great job. There is this one that was particularly gruesome and gory, and I'm pretty sure once you see it, you probably have the same reaction that I and everyone else in the theater that I was with had after watching. It was like, ooh, God, oh man, ooh, that's terrible. Oh man, and you're going to have that reaction. Now, my only complaint of the film is that there were some bad CGI at times, and I thought that kind of took away some of the aspects that were happening in the film. But the filmmakers don't overuse it like they did in the fourth film. It's just that for some of the CGI that they used was kind of bad, but overall they did a good job in mixing practical effects with CGI. Just at times it was bad. You can just tell it's like, oh man, they really didn't do a good job of that one. But overall, this was a very, very good horror film, and I believe this is the best of the franchise as we get some very touching moments in the film, as I mentioned earlier. Some great effects on how the mechanics that were used in the accidents. And I believe this is a great way for a horror icon that Tony Todd to have as his final film. He's really going to be missed. We're going to really miss that guy. So I'm going to give Final Destination Bloodlines 4 out of the miser's bloody gold coins. Just 4, like I said. Obviously, this is going to be one of the best horror films of the year. Nah, going to be kind of difficult trying to put this in between Companion and between this and Companion is my second favorite film of all of the year so far. It's not topping Sinners. I don't think anything's not going to top Sinners, but we'll have to see what's going to happen the rest of the year. But yeah, definitely a good horror film. Go out and see it and pay tribute to Tony Todd. And so that is my video and review of Final Destination Bloodlines. So if you did enjoy, if you did, please give it a thumbs up, like, and share. Really helps out with the YouTube algorithm. Have you seen Final Destination Bloodlines? Did you enjoy it? Did you really think it was the best film in the franchises? Please leave your comments in the comment section below and tell me your thought about the film. And also, please don't spoil it. Also, if you're new here, please hit that subscriber button, ring that notification bell. That way, we notify anytime when I put up new videos such as this one. Once again, my name is Lamont Smith, better known as the Horror Miser Monty G, and always remember that horror rules. And I'll see you in my next video. Guys, stay safe out there. Rest in peace, Tony. We'll miss you.